I've lost count of how many shows this is. I think it's his third solo show with 188, but I think it's about the fifth show here, because I think he's had another 2 shows that he's collaborated with. The talent in which the images are actually overlaid amongst each other, over each other. I think the more you look at the piece, the more you actually see how the image that overlays the female figure, the human form, really has been very carefully thought of, and I don't know how many hours he spends with each image, but I can't imagine it's a quick process. Only because I know how many photos Ed takes. Every time I go out, I'll tell you this story actually. We went to I get a message from Ed going, the end of year masters exhibition at NAS, the National Arts School of Sydney, was on. So all the graduating class, the masters they call them, was on show. So you go to the NAS and you walk through all the galleries, all the spaces, and all the students have worked all year or 3 years, and they've got their work on display. And there's various numbers of rooms. There's hundreds of pieces of work. It does get a bit repetitive because it's the same work over and over again, but hundreds of pieces of work, all displayed differently. And here I am looking at all the work, trying to pretend like I'm some sort of suave art director. And here's Edmond with his camera. Ed, the work. Yeah, I know, look at that. I imagine what I could do with that. I could do with this. Look at that. So then, of course, now, every time we go out, I go, Ed, look at this spot. Look at that. And we completely ignore the artwork that's on the walls. It's actually quite amazing. But to actually have that memory, that Rolodex, for those of you that are old enough to know what a Rolodex is, things that used to put business cards in and used to keep all your business in. No, it was still some. Right? But to have a Rolodex mind where you've taken so many images, because, like, let's face it, every time he goes out, he's taking 200 or 300 photos. That's a huge amount of footage, right? So to actually know that you've got something that's going to work with a particular pose, that you've not only got one photo, you've got several photos from that one session with the model, or several days worth of sessions with the model, and then to have the foresight and the understanding of what you've got in one bank of stock, another bank of stock, and then try and overlay each of them, that's a huge effort. I think, like, I'm a painter, and you've got an idea of a thing and you just put it out there and you give it a go, there it is. But to actually blend, as the show is called, Blended Nudes, this is number 4, right? To be able to actually do that, that's pretty amazing to me. I think Edmond is a true master of his art. And if you look around at some of the pieces, some of them are just incredible, the way that they actually the work you wouldn't consider as an artist actually to do that, to blend something over another thing and go, yeah, that's going to really work. But you look at some of the stunning photos around, and they're all stunning in their own right. There are obviously, like every exhibition, there are some standout pieces. I know what mine are. Everybody's will be different because that's what art is, right? But incredible work, Edmond.
Thank you.
Once again, has not disappointed. And the interesting thing is, as well, I think some of you may have heard me say this, I never see the full body of work before it arrives. Even Edmond's very good. He sends me everything in advance, sometimes more than once, because sometimes I lose stuff. But I never actually look at all the images, because it's nice to be able to curate with a fresh mind and just open the show up and go, okay, well, now I know what to do with this stuff. But it's incredible. It hasn't disappointed. The 3 solos and all the other collaborative shows, incredible work. Edmond is really a master of his art. So please, a round of applause, and let's get him up here.
Well, I have to thank Victor, of course, for giving me the chance. He said, let's give it a try. End of the year, there was a gallery that I looked for some space at William Street in the city, and they thought my work wasn't suitable for that space because it was too close to a public swimming pool, which is Cook and Phillip, and too close to another girls' school. While parallel, of course, is a whole red light district with all little red lights and things like that. So I thought that was a little bit funny, which means they didn't look at my work. They actually didn't have a look. They just made a decision and that was it. Because when you do look, I mean, really, there's nothing offensive here. I had a very interesting discussion at my last exhibition with somebody, a gentleman who wanted to talk a bit about sexism, wanted to talk a bit about sexuality and all that in art. And I said to him straightforward, and I said, I don't mind discussing it and I have my opinions, but I said, if you see something sexual in my art, I really think there's a problem with you. Because to me, there's nothing whatsoever. To me, it's pure, the beauty of art, beauty of women in my case, of course, as backgrounds, but really the texture is, as far as I'm concerned, what makes it more intriguing. Not just an art nude shot, which you could see done by thousands of other photographers. But I wanted to thank Victor for this fantastic curating, as he said. I show him the pictures, small format, and then bring him here, and then he lays it all out. He's also my professional curator when I have a show in Sydney, and I appreciate that. And to give me another chance. And I really appreciate all of you to come here today at this junction of early Christmas and all that. And that's it. Thanks. Appreciate it.